Why do you always wear black?
I'm in mourning for my life. I'm unhappy.
Why are you unhappy? I don't understand it. You're healthy, and your father may not be rich, but he's well provided for. My life is much harder than yours. I only get 23 rubles a month. Then they deduct something from that for my pension, but I'm not wearing mourning.
It's not the money that matters. A poor man can be happy.
Ah, that's all right in theory. But in practice, it works this way. There's me, my mother, 2 sisters, and a small brother, and the wages are 23 rubles a month. How are we all to get food and drink out of that? And tea and sugar and tobacco. Well, that's when you begin to feel the pinch.
Play is going to begin soon.
Yes. Nina is doing the acting and the play is by Constantine. And tonight, they're in love. Their hearts will merge in a desire to create a combined artistic image. But there's no point of contact between your heart and mine. I love you. I can't stay away because of my longing for you. Every day I walk 7 miles to visit you here and another 7 miles back again, and my only reward is your indifference.
What nonsense you talk. Love touches me deeply. I simply can't return it. That's all.
No, I don't want them. Thank you.
The air is so heavy. There'll probably be a storm tonight. You're always philosophizing or talking about money. You think there's no evil greater than poverty. Well, to me, it would be 1,000 times easier to walk about in rags and go begging than to... It's no use. I can't expect you to understand.
My dear friends, we'll call you when the show begins, but you can't stay here just now. Do you mind going away, please?
Masha, will you kindly ask your father to give orders for the dog to be unleashed? It howls the whole time. My sister couldn't sleep again all night long.
You can ask my father yourself. I'm not going to. I'm sorry.
You'll be sure to call us when it's time to start, won't you?
That dog will be howling again the whole night. It's a funny thing. I've never been able to get used to living in the country. Oh, there were times when I'd take a month off and come here for a rest and so on and so forth. You know what I mean. But then they'd start pestering you about this thing and that thing, that from the very first day, all you wanted to do was to get away again. I'll always be happy to get away from here. But now that I'm retired, there's nowhere else to go, so I have to stay on whether I like it or not. Ha, ha, ha.
Sir, I'm going to have a swim now.
Yes, very well, but you're to be back in your place in 10 minutes. We'll be starting soon.
Yes.
Well, that's all there is to the theater. The curtain and the first wing, and after that, just space. No decor, just the lake and the horizon. We'll raise the curtain sharply at 9:30. The moon should be up by then.
Splendid.
Nina's late. The whole effect will be ruined. She ought to be here by now. Her father and stepmother keep her under lock and key. She might as well be in prison. It's so difficult for her to get out of the house. Oh, your hair and beard are very untidy. Oughtn't you to go to a barber?
It's the tragedy of my life. When I was young, I always looked as if I'd been drinking heavily. You know what I mean. I never had any success with women. No, indeed. Why is my sister in such a bad mood?
Why? She's bored. And she's jealous. She's against me, against the performance, against my play, because she isn't acting in it and Nina is. She hasn't even read it yet and she hates it already.
What an idea.
She's upset because here on this tiny stage it'll be Nina who'll be having the success and not her. She's a psychological phenomenon, my mother. She has talent, there's no doubt about that. She's intelligent. She's quite likely to break our heart over a novel. She nurses the sick like an angel. But you just try saying one word of praise about the great Jusa when she's around. Oh! You mustn't praise anyone but her. She's the one you've got to write about. You've got to be amazed at her remarkable performance in La Dame aux Camellias and The Fallacy of Life. You see, here we are in the country, and there's none of this fuss and flurry, so she's bored and fractious. We're her enemies, every one of us. She ends up by disliking everything around her. And she's superstitious. She's scared to death of 3 candles and number 13, and she's miserly. She has 75,000 rubles in the bank. I know that for a fact, but you ask her for a loan, she'll cry her heart out.
You have it fixed in your head that your mother doesn't like your play, and that makes you anxious and so on and so forth. You mustn't worry like that. Your mother adores you.
She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not. There you are, you see. My mother doesn't love me. Well, of course she doesn't. She wants to live, to love, to wear bright clothes. I'm already 25, and I'm a constant reminder to her that she's no longer young. When I'm not there, she's 32, but when I am, she has to admit to 48, and she detests me for that. She knows very well that the theatre as it is means nothing to me. She adores it. She sees herself serving humanity. She thinks of the theatre as some kind of sacred art. Well, as far as I'm concerned, the theatre as it is today is dead, a mere convention. When the curtain goes up on a room with 3 walls lit by artificial light, and these great artists, these high priests of art, start imitating people eating, drinking, loving, moving about, wearing their humdrum clothes, when out of a few vulgar images and sentences they try to extract a moral, just a very little one. And that's got to be adaptable and convenient and safe for domestic use. Well, I'm offered the same old thing over and over and over again in 1,000 variations. I just take to my heels and run like Maupassant when he ran from the Eiffel Tower because of its vulgarity.
You can't do without it. Without the theatre, I mean.
We need change. We need new forms. And if we can't find them, it would be better to have nothing at all. I love my mother. I love her deeply, but she leads an absurd life. She's always drifting around with that novelist. There's always something about her in the gossip columns, and it all wears me out. Sometimes I'm overcome by the sheer egotism of a simple soul. I bitterly regret that my mother's a famous actress, and it seems to me that I would be far happier if she were just an ordinary woman. Uncle, can you think of any situation more desperate and detestable? There she is, surrounded by a great crowd of celebrities, artists, writers. And out of the whole lot, I am the only non-entity. What am I? Who am I? I walked out of my 3rd year at the university because of circumstances, as they say, over which the editor accepts no responsibility, with no talent, without a penny to my name. According to my passport, I am a tradesman of the city of Kiev, like my father was, though he was a famous actor as well. So, when all these famous artists and writers did finally condescend to pay some attention to me, it was as if they were measuring my mediocrity. I could see what they were thinking. The humiliation was unbearable.
By the way, do tell me, what do you think of that novelist? I can't make him out somehow. He hardly ever opens his mouth.
He's intelligent, naive, perhaps a little inclined to melancholy. He's decent enough. He's not 45 and is already famous and bored stiff with the whole thing. His writing, I'd say, is pleasant and not without talent. But after Tolstoy and Zola, I wouldn't want to start reading Trigorin.
I must admit, dear boy, I'm rather drawn to literary men myself. There was a time in my youth when there were 2 things I wanted passionately. To get married and to be a man of letters. But I did neither. No, indeed. Would be nice to have been a mediocre writer, even, you know.
I can hear someone coming. I can't live without her. Even the sound of her footsteps is music to me. I'm so happy, so wonderfully happy.
I'm not late. No, I'm not late.
No, you're not late.
I've been so nervous all day. I was terrified Father wouldn't let me come. But he just went out and I stepped out and I rode like the wind. But I'm so happy to be here.
A little red about the eyes, aren't we? It won't do.
It's nothing. Say goodbye to both of you. Oh, we have to go in half an hour. I must hurry. For God's sake, don't make me take longer. I simply can't. Father doesn't know.
Yes, we ought to begin now. I'll go.
I'll go and fetch them, Sally. Now, Frank, healing. Die waren in Russland gefangen. One day, I started singing like that, and an assistant public prosecutor said to me, I say, Your Excellency, you've got a powerful voice. Then he paused and added, but an unpleasant one.
Father and his wife don't like my coming here. They say the atmosphere is too bohemian, and they're frightened I want to become an actress. But I'm drawn here to the lake. Like a seagull, my heart belongs to you.
We're alone.
I thought I heard someone.
No, there's nobody.
What kind of tree is that?
An elm.
Why is it so dark?
Well, it's almost night time. All things go dark by now. Don't leave early, I implore you.
What can I do? How can I help it?
Shall I come back with you, Nina? I'll stand in the garden all night, looking up at your window.
No, it's impossible. The watchman won't see you. Tress wasn't used to you yet. He'd start barking.
I love you.
Who's there? Is that you, Yakov? Have you got the alcohol and the sulfur? When the crimson eyes appear, there must be a smell of sulfur.
Yes, sir.
All ready? You nervous?
Terribly. I don't mind your Mama. I'm not afraid of her, but there's Tree-Corin. I'm terrified of acting in front of him. He's such a famous person. Is he young?
Yes.
His stories are so wonderful.
I don't know. I haven't read them.
It's not easy to act in your play, you know. There are no living characters.
What do we want with living characters? It's no good showing life as it is, or how we would like it to be, but as we see it in our most fantastic dreams, our most hideous nightmares.
There's so little action in your play, and I think a play should always have some love in it.
Get down. Go back and put on your galoshes.
Oh, I'm quite warm.
You don't take care of yourself properly. Sheer stubbornness. You're a doctor, and you'll know perfectly well that the damp is bad for you. All you want to do is make me suffer. All last night you sat out on the terrace on purpose.
Don't
so
say again.
fascinated by your conversation with our cardinal, you didn't even notice the cold. Come on, admit it. You're attracted by her.
I'm nearly 60 years old.
What of it? That's no age for a man. You're very well preserved and very attractive to women still.
What do you suggest?
Oh, you're all the same. You all fall down on your knees before an actress.
Are you once again? I find myself.
Well, in society, it's quite normal to like artists and to treat them differently from the way one treats merchants, for example. It's what is called idealism.
Women were always falling in love with you and chasing after you. Was that idealism, too?
All I can say is women have always been very kind to me. What they liked most about me was that I was a good doctor.
If you remember, 10 or 15 years ago, I was the only good obstetrician in the province.
Besides, I was always a gentleman. Someone's coming.
She acted magnificently at the Port Arthur Fair in 1873. Oh, what a joy that was. Oh, how she acted. I wonder if you know where the comic actor Pavel Chadyin is now. He was divine as Rasputin, better than Sadovsky. I swear to you, dear lady, but where is he now?
Look, all those people you talk about must have existed before the flood. How would I know where they are?
Pavel Chadyin. Nobody to touch him nowadays. The stage has degenerated, Irina Nikolaevna. What giant oaks there were in the past. Now we see only stumps.
Well, there are certainly fewer exceptional talents nowadays.
But on average, I think the standard is much higher than it used to be.
I can't agree with you. However, it's a matter of taste. De gustibus aut bene aut nihil.
De mortuis.
My dear boy, when do we start?
In a moment, have a little patience.
Oh, Hamlet, speak no more. Thou turns mine eyes into my very soul. And there I see such black and granite spots as will not leave their tint.
Let me wring thy heart, for so I shall if it be made of penetrable stuff.
Pavel Chejov is absolutely wonderful in the part.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to begin.
Absolutely marvelous.
May I have your attention, please? O venerable shades of ancient times that soar above this lake at night, lull us to sleep, and let us dream of things that are to come in 200,000 years from now.
There'll be nothing at all in 200,000 years from now.
In that case, we want to know what that nothing will be like.
Yes, we do. But hurry up. We have half asleep already.
Men and women, lions, eagles and partridges, antlered stags, geese, spiders, silent fish living in deep water, starfish, and those unseen to the eye. In short, every living thing, having completed its mournful cycle, is now burnt out. For thousands of centuries, this earth has not seen a single living being. And this poor moon lights its beacon in vain. The cranes do not wake up crying in the meadows, and no beetles are heard among the lime trees. It is cold, cold, cold. It is empty, empty, empty. It is terrifying, terrifying, terrifying. The bodies of living beings have vanished. The eternal spirit has turned them into stones, into water, into clouds. But all their souls have merged into one. I am this universal soul. I am the soul of Alexander the Great, of Caesar, of Shakespeare, of Napoleon, and of the humblest, lowest of the leeches. In me, man's capacity for thought has merged with the instincts of the beasts, and I remember everything, 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 and relive in myself every life there's ever been.
This is something very modern, decadent.
I am lonely. Once in 100 years I open my lips to speak, but my voice is full of sorrow in this great emptiness, and no one hears me. And you, pale fires, you do not hear me. The stagnant marsh gives birth to you at dawn, and you wander until the evening glows, but without thought, without will, without a flicker of life. For fear that life should rise in you again, the devil, father of eternal matter, changes the composition of the atoms in your body so that you are always changing. In the whole universe, only the spirit remains invariable and permanent. Like a prisoner thrown into a deep, dry well, I know not where I am, nor what awaits me. Only this is revealed to me, that after a cruel, stubborn struggle with the devil, the embodiment of material force, I shall be triumphant. And then matter and spirit will combine together in perfect harmony, and the reign of universal will come. But this will only happen after millions and millions of years, when gradually the moon, and the shining Sirius, and the earth have turned to dust. Till then, there will be nothing but horror. 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 Here comes my mighty adversary, the devil. I see his frightening crimson eyes.
There's a smell of sulfur. Is that intentional?
Yes.
Very effective.
Mama!
He finds the time hangs heavy
Take off
without
your hat.
you.
Put it on or you'll catch cold.
Mama.
Doctor has taken his hat off to the devil, father of eternal matter.
The play's finished. That's enough. Curtain.
What are you so angry about?
Curtain, knock off. Bring down the curtain. I said the curtain. I must apologize. I hadn't realized that only special persons are privileged to write plays and act them on the stage. I flouted the convention, obviously. To me, that...
What's the matter with him?
Irina, my dear, you cannot wound a young man's dignity like that.
But what did I say?
You hurt him.
He warned us himself it was a joke, so I took his word for it.
All the same.
So now it turns out he imagined he's written a great masterpiece, if you please. So obviously he arranged this performance and stifled us with sulfur, but not as a joke, as some kind of a moral lesson. He wants to teach us how we should write and how we should act. No, really, it's beginning to be tiresome. This continual tantrums and this constant goading is getting on my nerves. He's a capricious, conceited boy.
He only wanted to give you pleasure.
Did he really? But he didn't choose a normal play, did he? He merely forced us to listen to this decadent, nightmarish nonsense. I'm perfectly willing to listen to nonsense for a joke. But this is some kind of pretension to new forms, a new era in art. It isn't, in fact, a question of new forms, but of a nasty temper.
Everyone writes what he wants to write, and as best he can.
Let him write what he wants to write, and the best he can, but he can leave me in peace.
Jupiter, you're angry.
I'm not Jupiter, I'm a woman, I'm not angry. It just grieves me that a young man should spend his time in such a boring way. I had no wish to offend him.
But what right have we to separate mind from matter when maybe the mind itself is an accumulation of material atoms? But you know, if only someone would write a play about school teachers like myself and how we live and get that acted on a stage. It's a very hard life, you know, a very hard life.
Yes, you're quite right, but don't let us talk about atoms and plays anymore. It's too perfect a night for that. Listen, someone is singing. Ah, it's lovely.
It's coming from the other shore.
Boris, come and sit by me here. You know that 10 or 15 years ago, you could hear singing and music by the lake almost every night. There are 6 country houses near here. And I can remember laughter, noise, shooting, and endless love affairs. And the favorite of them all, do you know it was? Let me introduce you. Dr. Yevgeny Dorn. He's still full of charm, but in those days he was irresistible. You know, my conscience is beginning to torment me. Why did I have to hurt my poor boy's feelings? It worries me. Kostya, my son. Kostya.
I'll go and look for him.
Constantine! Constantine!
Bravo! Bravo!
We're obviously not going on with the play, so I suppose I can come out.
Good evening. We did admire you, with your looks and such a beautiful voice. It's a sin. It's quite unforgivable to bury yourself in the country. I'm sure you have a talent for acting. I mean it. I really do. You simply must go on the stage.
I dream about it, but it'll never come true.
Who knows? Let me introduce you. Boris Trigorin.
Oh, I'm so glad. I've read everything you've ever written.
You mustn't be shy. He is a celebrity, but a very simple man, really. See, he's embarrassed, too.
Perhaps we should lower the curtain. It looks weird like that.
Yakov, my boy, pull the curtain down.
It is a strange play, isn't it?
I didn't understand it at all. I enjoyed watching it, though. Your acting was so sincere, and the setting is wonderful. Must be a lot of fish in that lake.
Yes.
I'm very fond of fishing. There's nothing I like to do in the evening more than to sit on the bank, watching the float.
But I thought for someone who has experienced the joys of creativity, no other joys could exist.
Oh, you mustn't talk to him that way, my dear, because when he hears such fine words, he doesn't know what to do with himself.
I remember once the Moscow Opera. The famous Silva struck a low C, when suddenly, to our surprise, and as if on purpose, one of the basses from our local choir was sitting up in the gallery, sang out, "Bravo, Silva," a whole octave lower. Like this. Bravo, Silva. But the audience was stunned.
An angel of peace has flown by.
It's time for me to go. Goodbye.
Go? Why so early? We won't let you go.
Father's waiting for me.
Oh, what a monster. Well, it can't be helped. But we're very, very sorry to see you go.
You knew how hard it is for me to leave.
Oh, someone should see you home.
No.
Do stay.
I can't. I really can't.
Just for an hour or so, that's all. Why not?
I can't.
She's really an unfortunate girl. They say that her mother left all her enormous fortune down to the last penny to her husband. Now the girl has nothing. Because her father has already made a will in favor of his second wife.
Huh?
Outrageous.
Yes, her father's a real scoundrel, to give him his due.
Let's all go too, my friends. It's getting very damp. My legs ache.
Oh, they can hardly move, can they? They seem to be made of wood. Well, come along, you poor, miserable old man.
My dear wife.
I can hear that dog howling again. I wish you'd have it taken off its chain, Sam Riot.
I can't, my dear sir. As your bailiff, I have to make sure that no thieves get into the barn. I've got millet in there. Yes, it was a whole octave lower. Bravo, Silva. He wasn't even a real singer, just someone from our local choir.
What would be the salary of someone in the local choir?
Everybody gone. I'm here.
Marcia's been searching for me in the garden. What a nuisance she is.
Constantine, I liked your play immensely. Or maybe I didn't understand all of it, but there was definitely something in it. When that girl spoke about loneliness, when the devil's crimson eyes appeared, my hands began to tremble from sheer emotion. There was something so pure and innocent about it. Well, of course, it's a very strange play, and of course I didn't hear the end, but it made a very vivid impression on me. You've got a lot of talent. You must go on. What a bundle of nerves you are. Eyes full of tears. What I wanted to say was, you've chosen a subject from the field of abstract ideas. That was the right thing to do, because a work of art has got to express a great idea. Only serious things can be really beautiful. But you're so pale.
So, you think I should go?
I do. But only write about the really important, the eternal things. You know, I've lived a very varied sort of life. Enjoyed every minute of it. I've been happy, I suppose. But if I'd ever experienced the kind of spiritual exaltation that artists experience when they're creating something, I think I would have abandoned my material shell with contempt, soared up to heaven, left the world behind.
Forgive me. Where's Nina?
She went home.
What should I do? I want to see her. I've got to see her. What? I'm going anywhere. I must.
Constantine! Go back into the house. Your Mamma's waiting. She's worried about you.
Tell her I've gone. And I beg you, all of you, leave me in peace. Leave me alone and don't keep following me.
Oh, come, my dear boy, you mustn't. You shouldn't. It's not right.
Goodbye, Doctor. Thank you.
Oh, youth. Youth.
There's nothing else to say. People say youth. Youth.
That's a disgusting habit. I believe there's some music in the house. Perhaps we should go in.
Wait a little.
What is it?
I want to tell you once again. I want to speak. I feel no affection for my father. But my heart is drawn to you. For some reason, I feel that you're close to me. Help me. Help me. Or I shall do something foolish. I'll make a mockery of my life. I'll destroy myself. I can't go on.
What can I do? How can I help?
I'm so unhappy. No one knows how much I suffer. Love Constantine.
How intense they all are. How intense. And love. Love everywhere. Everywhere there's a lot of love. Must be the sorcery of the lake. What can I do for you, my child? can I do?
Hey! Now. Goodbye. Et voilà. Come and stand beside me. You are 22. I'm almost twice your age. My dear doctor, who looks the younger?
You, of course.
There you are. And why? Because I work. Because I'm always on the TV. Because I feel things strongly, and you sit on one spot. You don't really leave. That's why. Also have one golden rule. Never look into the future. I never think of death or old age. What has to happen will happen.
I, on the other hand, feel as if I had been born long, long ago. I trail my life behind me like a burden, like a dress with a never-ending train. Often, I don't want to go on living at all. Oh, it's nonsense to talk like that, I know. I've got to pull myself together. Forget all that.
Ah, and another thing. I'm as disciplined as an Englishman. I'm always on my toes, my dear, as they say. Always dressed, with my hair done comme il faut. I'd never dream of leaving the house, not even for a walk in the garden looking blousy or disheveled. Never. I've kept my looks because I've never allowed myself to be dowdy. I've never let myself go, as some people do. So you see, here I am, as lively as a robin and ready to play a 15-year-old.
Well, I better get on with the book. You go as far as that bit about the corn merchant and the rats.
Yes, the rats. Now go on, read. Oh, no. Give it to me. I read. My turn. So, where are we? And the rats. Ah, here it is. And of course, for society people to pamper novelists and encourage them is just as dangerous as for a corn merchant to breed rats in his granaries. And yet they are loved. So that when a woman has picked the writer whom she wishes to entice, she overwhelms him with compliments, flattery, favors. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's so with the French, but here we don't behave like that at all. We have no talent for strategy. Here, before she begins to seduce a writer, the woman is already head over ears in love with him. I assure you. Oh, we don't have far to look. Take me and Trigorin.
Ich liebe dich in Zeit und Ewigkeit. Ich liebe dich in Zeit und Ewigkeit. Oh, look, we're happy today at last. Father and stepmother have gone to town, and we are left to ourselves for 3 whole days.
I'm so happy today. Now it belongs to you.
Ah, she looks pretty, pretty today.
Smart, attractive, I approve. Good girl, that's what she is. But we mustn't praise her too much. It might be unlucky. Where's Trigorin?
He's down by the bathing cabin. He's fishing.
Can't understand how he's not sick of it.
What are you reading?
Maupassant sur l'eau, darling. But it isn't interesting as it goes on, and it's all wrong. I feel so restless. Tell me, what's the matter with my son? Why is he so tedious, so sullen? Spends the old days on the lake. I hardly ever see him.
He's unhappy in himself. Please, will you read something out of his play? Do you really want me to? You find it interesting. When he reads aloud, his face turns white as a sheet. He has a beautiful, sad voice and the manner of a poet.
Good night.
Petrushka! You sleep?
Oh, not at all.
You don't bother enough about your health. It's all wrong, my dear.
I wouldn't mind taking some medicine as the doctor won't give me anything.
Taking medicine at 65.
One wants to live even at 65.
Well, perhaps you better go and take some valerian drops.
I should have thought it'd do him a lot of good to go to a spa. Take the waters.
Well, yes, it might. Yeah, and on the other hand, it might not.
What do you want to make of that?
Well, there's nothing to make of it. It's quite simple. I think he ought to give up smoking.
What nonsense.
No, it's not nonsense. Wine and tobacco alter the personality. Now, after a glass of vodka or a cigar, you're no longer P.M. Sorin, but P.M. Sorin plus something else. Your own ego dissolves, and you look back on yourself as if you were another person. Mr. X.
You're a fine one to talk. You've tasted life. But what about me? I've served in the Ministry of Justice for 33 years, but I haven't lived yet. I've had no excitement after all. So naturally I want to go on living. You've had all you want, so you don't care, and have a tendency to philosophize. As for me, all I want is to live, and so I drink sherry at dinner and I smoke cigars and so on and so forth, and that's how it is.
Life has to be taken seriously. And to go in for cures at 65 and regret that you didn't enjoy yourself when you were young, forgive me, it's just frivolous.
Expect it's time for lunch. Oh, my leg's gone to sleep.
Now she'll go and have a drink or two before lunch.
She has no inner happiness, poor girl.
Rubbish, Your Excellency. Rubbish.
You argue like a man who's had all he wants.
What can be more boring than this sweet country boredom? It's hot, peaceful, nobody does anything, everybody philosophizes. I like being with you, my friends. I enjoy your conversation, but being in one's hotel room, learning one's lies is far more pleasant.
Oh, yes, it must be wonderful. I understand you so well.
Well, of course, it's nicer in town. You sit in your study, the footman lets no one in unannounced. There's the telephone, cabs in the street, and so on and so forth.
Faites-lui mes aveux, portez mes vœux.
Here they are. All of them. Good day. I'm glad to see you in good health. My wife tells me that you intend going with her to town today. Is that true?
Yes, we're getting ready to go.
That is splendid, of course, but how do you propose traveling, dear lady? We're harvesting the rye today, and all the farm hands are busy. And which horses will you use, pray?
Which horses? Well, how do I know which horses?
You've got the carriage horses, surely?
Carriage horses. And where will I get the harnesses? Where? It's incredible. I can't believe my ears. Forgive me, I'm full of veneration for your talent. I'm ready to give 10 years of my life for you, but I can't give you any horses.
But what happens if I have got to go? This is surely very strange.
Dear lady, you don't understand the first thing about running a farm.
Oh, that's the old story all over again. In that case, I leave at once for Moscow. Please do hire me some horses from the village. Otherwise, I'll walk to the station.
In that case, I resign. And you can find yourself another bailiff.
It's sheer insolence. Quite unheard of. I'm sick of it all. I want all the horses here this minute.
Don't move. We'll take you there.
Let's all go, too, and join my sister. We'll beg her not to go, shan't we? All of us. Oh, the insufferable tyrant! A real monster!
Oh, dear, how horrible it is.
Yes, it's horrible, but he won't go. I'll just have a word with him.
How tiresome people are. That husband of yours should be given the sack on the spot. But you'll see, in the end, that old dormouse and his sister will be begging his pardon.
Even the carriage horses have been sent into the field. Every day there's some misunderstanding like this. If only you knew how it upsets me. It makes me positively ill. Look, I'm trembling. Can't stand this bully. Dearest, take me away with you. Our time's running out. We're not getting any younger. Surely we could give up this lying, this hiding at the end of our lives.
I'm 59 years old. It's too late to make a change now.
Of course. You refuse because there are other women in your life and they can't all be living with you. I understand. Forgive me. You must be tired of me.
No, it's all right.
I'm eaten up with jealousy. Of course, you're a doctor, a specialist. How can you avoid women? I do understand.
Well, how are things going?
Aunt Hardina's weeping, and her brother's having an attack of asthma.
Well, perhaps I'd better go and give them both Valerian drops.
Would you like these?
Oh, merci bien.
Give them to her. Give them to me.
What's this?
I was vile enough to kill this seagull today. I lay it at your feet.
What's the matter with you?
Very soon I shall kill myself in the same way.
It isn't like you at all.
Yes, but then you're not the same as you used to be either. You've changed. Your eyes are cold. My presence embarrasses you.
You've become so irritable lately. You talk in a strange kind of way, well, in symbols. The seagull, too, is apparently some kind of symbol. Well, forgive me if I don't understand you. I'm probably too simple to understand you.
It all began that night when my play turned out to be such a stupid failure. Women never forgive failures. I burnt it. Every scrap of it. If only you knew how wretched I feel. Your sudden coldness frightens me. It stuns me as if I woke up one morning to find that the lake had dried up or was draining away. You said just now that you were too simple to understand me. What is there to understand? You didn't like the play. You despise my work. You think me mediocre, insignificant, just a nobody. How well I understand it, how well! It's as if I had a nail stuck in my brain, and I hate it as I hate my own pride that sucks my life's blood away like a snake. There's the real genius. Look at him, walking like Hamlet, even down to the book. Words, words, words. That sun hasn't even come near you, but you're smiling already. Your eyes are melting in its rays. I don't want to be in your way.
Good day. Things have turned out so unexpectedly that I believe we're leaving today. I doubt whether we shall ever meet again, you and I. It's a pity. I seldom meet young and interesting girls. I can no longer imagine what it's like to be 18 or 19. That's why the young girls in my stories and novels don't usually ring true. I should have liked, you see, to be inside you just for 1 hour. To know what you think and feel and what sort of a mysterious creature you are.
And I should have liked to have been you instead of me.
Whatever for?
To know what it feels like to be a famous and talented writer. How do you react to being famous? How does your fame, your celebrity affect you?
How does it affect me? Not at all, probably. I've never thought about it. Well, the answer is one of two things. Either you exaggerate my fame, or it doesn't affect me at all.
But when you read about yourself in the newspapers...
It's pleasant when they praise you. When they find fault, it upsets you for a couple of days.
What a wonderful world. If you only knew how much I envy you. People's destinies are so different. Some just drag out their dull, colourless little lives, one much like the next, and all of them miserable. And others, like you, for instance, you're 1 in a million. You've been given such a rich life with such meaning to it. You're blessed.
I? You talk of fame, happiness, rich life so full of meaning. For me, all these fine words, forgive me, are much the same as marmalade, which I never eat. You're very young, very kind.
But your life is beautiful.
What's so beautiful about it? I must go now and do some work. Forgive me, I have no time for myself. You have, as one says, stepped on my favorite corn, and I'm beginning to feel restless and a little angry. Never mind. Let's talk. Let's talk about my full, rich life. Well, where should we start? Some ideas are obsessive, such as when a man thinks day and night about the moon, for example. I, too, have my own kind of moon. Day and night, I'm haunted by one single compulsion. I must write, I must write, I must. I've hardly finished one story, but for some reason I have to start on the next, then on a third, then on a fourth. I write without interruption, in relays. I couldn't work any other way. What is there so rich and beautiful about that, may I ask? What a barbarous life it is, in fact. Here I am with you. I'm excited by your presence. But I don't forget for one moment that I have an unfinished story waiting for me. I see a cloud that looks like a grand piano. I think at once, I must put in a story that a cloud swam by looking like a grand piano. I smell the scent of heliotrope. Instantly I make a note. A cloying smell. A widow's flower. I must mention it in the description of a summer evening. I catch at every word you say, every word I say myself, and I rush to lock up all these sentences, all these words in my literary treasure chest. They may be useful to me one day. When I finish work, I escape to the theater, to the river, to fish. Should be able to relax there. But no, the old iron hammer is beating in my brain. I've got a new subject. I'm being drawn back to my desk. I've got to hurry, get down to work again. And so it goes on, and I never can get away from myself. And I feel that I'm eating up my life. And that to make this honey to hand down to posterity, I destroy the pollen of my best flowers. I tear the flowers up by the roots. It's a form of madness, isn't it? Do my friends and acquaintance treat me as a normal being? What are you writing? What are you going to give us next? Always the same thing, and I feel that all this attention, this praise, this admiration is nothing but flattery. I'm being humored like a sick person. And sometimes afraid that somebody will come up behind me and drag me off and put me in a lunatic asylum. And in those early years, those young, those best years, when I was beginning to write, my writing was sheer torture. A mediocre writer, particularly if he's unlucky, feels clumsy, awkward, useless. His nerves are always on edge. He's tense. He's overwrought. He can't keep away from people associated with literature and the arts, and he wanders around unnoticed, unrecognized, afraid to look anyone in the face, just like a a passionate gambler without any money. I was never conscious of my readers, but for some reason I imagined that they were unfriendly, on their guard. And I was terrified of my theater public. When a new play of mine was being performed, I always had the idea that the dark-haired men in the audience were actively hostile and the fair ones were cold and indifferent. How dreadful it was. It was agony, I can tell you.
You mean that inspiration and the creative process itself doesn't ever give you any satisfaction, fulfillment?
Yes, it's good when I'm writing, and enjoyable when I read the proofs, but when the whole thing is in print, I can't stand the sight of it. I see that it's all wrong, all a failure, never should have been written in the first place, and I hate myself. I feel rotten and depressed. And the public says, yes, it's quite good, quite talented, nice, but a long way from Tolstoy. Or it's a fine work, but Turgenev's Fathers and Sons was a much better book. And so until my dying day, everything will be quite good, quite talented, competent, shows talent, nothing more than that. And when I die, my friends will pass by my grave and they will say, here lies Trigorin. He was a good writer. But he couldn't hold a candle to Tolstoy.
Oh, forgive me, I can't take all this seriously. You're simply spoiled by success.
What success? I never liked what I wrote. I don't like myself as a writer. I feel that I'm no good for anything except landscapes. And that in anything else, I'm false. I'm insincere to the marrow of my bones.
You've worked too hard. You've no time, no wish left to recognize your insignificance. You may be disappointed in yourself, but to others, you're great and glorious. If I were a writer like you, I should devote all my life to my readers. But I would realize that their happiness lies only in raising themselves up to my level. And they would have to pull me along in my chariot.
A chariot, me? No, really, a chariot.
Yes.
Am I then Agamemnon?
For the happiness of being an artist like you, I could bear the hostility of everyone around me. I could put up with poverty and disappointment. I could live on rye bread in an attic, alone with the hateful knowledge of my own imperfections. But in return, I should demand glory. Real, dazzling, blinding glory. Feel giddy. Oh.
Go. They're expecting me to finish my packing. I'd much rather stay here. What happiness this is. How wonderful.
You see the house and the garden on the opposite shore of the lake?
Yes?
That was my mother's estate. I was born there.
Huh?
I've spent all my life on this lake. I know every island on it.
Yes, it's a lovely place. What's there?
The seagull, Constantine, killed it.
It's a beautiful bird. Oh, I don't want to go away. Can't you persuade her to stay?
What are you writing?
I'm just jotting down an idea for a subject. Subject for a short story. Young woman lives all her life beside a lake. Girl like you. Like a seagull, she loves the lake. She's free, happy, like a seagull. Man passes that way by chance. And, having nothing better to do, he destroys her. Like that seagull.
No.
Coming! What is it?
We're not going.
Is it a dream?
I'm telling you all this because you're a writer. You may use it if you wish. I can tell you quite honestly that he wounded himself seriously. I couldn't have gone on living another second. Shall we have another? Don't look at me like that. Women drink more often than you may think. Few drink openly as I do, most in secret. It's true. Mostly vodka, brandy. To your good health. You're a straightforward man. I'm sorry we're parting.
I don't want to go away either.
Why don't you ask her to stay?
Oh, she won't stay now. Son is behaving most tactlessly. First he tries to shoot himself, and now I hear he wants to challenge me to a duel. What for? He sulks, snaps at everybody, sermonizes about new ideas. Surely there's room for everyone, for the new as well as for the old. Why not just let each other be?
Well, there's also jealousy. Well, let me wish you every happiness. Think kindly of me. I'm grateful to you for your friendly sympathy. Do send me your books. Autograph, please. But don't write in them to Maria, my honored friend, but simply to Maria, who belongs nowhere and lives on this earth to no purpose. Odd or even?
Even?
No. I was trying to find the answer to the question, should I become an actress or not? If only somebody would give me some advice.
It's not a matter that one can give advice about.
We're both going our different ways, and probably we shall never meet again. I want to ask you to accept this little memento from me. It has your initials engraved on it. And on the other side, the title of your book, Days and Nights.
How sweet you are. What a charming present.
I would like you to think of me now and then.
I shall. I shall remember you, the way you were on that blissful day. Do you remember about a week ago? You were wearing a a light-colored dress. We were talking. There was a white seagull dead on the ground.
Yes, a seagull. Look at me now, somebody's coming. Before you go, promise to give me just 2 or 3 more minutes.
I'm sure. Your magazine, all is gathering about, then social calls. Who was it who went out just now, Nina?
Yes?
Oh, pardon, we interrupted your conversation. I'm almost finished with my packing. I'm exhausted.
Days and nights, page 121, lines 11 and 12.
Shall I pack your robes, sir?
Yes, I shall be needing them again, but as for the books, you can give them away to someone.
Very well.
121, lines 11 and 12. Can I have written? Are there any of my books in the house?
Yes, in my brother's study, in the corner bookcase. Patricia, you do much better to stay at home.
You're going away. I shall be miserable staying here alone.
Why should it be any better in town?
Well, of course, there's nothing much there either. All the same, there'll be the laying of the foundation stone of the new council buildings and so on and so forth. Oh, I long to get away for an hour or so from living like a fish in a bowl and become stale here, like an old cigarette holder. I've ordered the horses for 1 o'clock so we can all leave at the same time.
God bless you. Don't miss us too much. Don't catch cold. And take care of my boy. Don't leave him alone too much. Here I am, going away without finding out why my Constantine tried to shoot himself. I do believe the main reason was jealous. So the sooner I take triggering away, the better it is.
What am I to say? I think there were other reasons as well, you know. It's very understandable. He's a young, intelligent boy. He lives in the country, far away from everything. Without position, without a future, without occupation. He's ashamed and afraid of his idleness. I'm extremely fond of him, and he's devoted to me. But in the end, he must feel that he's the odd man out, that he's a parasite, a sponger. Oh, it's very understandable, this pride of his.
It's a great worry to me. Oh, maybe he could become a civil servant or something.
To my mind, you know, the best thing would be if you were to give him a little money. Before he does anything else, he ought to be properly dressed. Have you noticed that he goes about wearing the same old coat for the last 3 years, without a coat? Wouldn't be a bad idea either. If he went away and had a good time somewhere, abroad, for instance. Not so expensive, after all.
Oh, well, it depends. Might be able to afford a suit. Now, for going abroad. No. No, at the moment I couldn't even go as far as a suit. I have no money at all. None!
So be it. Forgive me, my dear. Don't be angry, I believe you. You're a generous, noble-hearted woman.
I tell you, I have no money.
If I had money myself, I'd certainly give him some, but I have none. None at all. My whole pension goes to the bailiff who spends it on the land, on the cows, and the bees. The bees die, the cows die, and I'm never allowed any horses. Always did.
Oh. I do have some money, of course. But after all, I'm an actress. My dresses alone cost me a fortune.
You're kind, sweet. I respect you.
Oh.
Yes, I do. But there's something wrong with me again.
Petrushka?
I
Petrushka!
feel faint.
Petrushka!
I think
Help! Help! Come and help me! Come and help me! Oh, come help, please! Oh, he's ill!
Oh, it's nothing.
Oh, Petrushka!
All over now.
Don't worry, Mama. It's nothing dangerous. It often happens to him nowadays. Uncle, I think you ought to lie down for a bit.
Yes, a bit. I'll go to town all the same, then I'll lie down. Then I'll go over.
Now, here's a riddle for you. Who travels on 4 legs in the morning, on 2 legs at noon, on 3 legs in the evening,
Yes, and on the back at night. I can manage perfectly well on my own.
Oh, why so independent all of a sudden?
Petrushka, I want you to lie down. Go to your room.
Yeah, I'll stay with you.
Oh, how he frightened me.
It isn't good for him to live in the country. He's too lonely. Now, if you became generous all of a sudden, Mama, and lent him about 1,500 or 2,000 rubles, you could have a whole year in town.
I have no money. I'm an actress, not a banker.
Mama. Please, will you change my bandage? You do it so beautifully.
That's very late again.
Yes, he promised to be here at 9, but it's already midday.
Like an Arab in a turban. You know, like yesterday, a stranger in the kitchen asked what nationality you were. Wound is almost healed. Just a little sore. And you're sure that there won't be any more of that while I'm away?
No, Mama, it was only a moment of despair when I couldn't control myself. It won't happen again. Magical hands. Do you remember a long time ago when you still acted in the State Theatre? I was a small boy at the time. There was a fight in our courtyard. A laundry woman, one of the tenants, was badly beaten. Do you remember? She was unconscious when they found her. And you looked after her, gave her medicine, washed her children in the tub. Do you remember?
No.
There were 2 ballerinas living in the same house there. They used to come up and have coffee with you.
That I do remember.
They were very religious folk. You know, in these last few days, I find I love you as tenderly and unquestioningly as I did when I was a child.
Mm.
Now, there's no one in my life but you. But why? Tell me. Why do you allow yourself to be so influenced by that man?
He's Don't understand him, Constantine. He's the noblest of characters.
But when he learned that I intended to challenge him to a duel, his noble character didn't prevent him from turning tail and running away. Despicable, I think it was.
What rubbish. It's I who asked him to go.
A noble character, indeed. Here we are, quarreling, both of us, and where do you think he is? Somewhere in the garden or in the drawing room, laughing at us, opening up new horizons to Nina, trying to convince her he's a genius.
You just enjoy saying nasty things to me. I respect the man, and I beg you not to say such horrid things about him in my presence.
I, on the other hand, do not respect him. You want me to believe he's a genius? Well, you'll have to forgive me. I can't lie, and his writing nauseates me.
This is nothing but sheer envy. People who have no talent, but who have pretensions in that direction, are left with nothing better to do than criticize real talent.
Real talent? My God, I have more talent than any of you, if the truth be told. You who follow the old rules and consider yourself superior in the world of art. You won't accept anything genuine and legitimate unless it comes from you. Everything else you stifle at birth, you trample underfoot. Well, I won't accept it. I won't accept any of the dogmas either of you lay down.
Anarchist!
You go on in your fine theatre in those worthless second-rate plays of yours.
Never acted in such Oh, leave me alone. You couldn't even write a miserable little vaudeville piece, you petit bourgeois, you parasite,
Miser!
stupid brat, you nonentity. Don't cry. You mustn't cry. You mustn't. Oh. Forgive me. Forgive me, my darling child. Forgive your wicked mother. Wretched that I am.
Mama? Mama? And you knew. I've lost everything. She doesn't love me. I can't write anymore. All my hopes are shattered.
Don't despair. Don't despair. Everything will be all right at the end. It'll go away. And she'll love you again. But no more tears. Friend, again, Anton.
Yes,
But you must make it up with him, too. There won't be any more talk of Jules.
very well. Please, don't force me to keep on seeing it. It's too hard for me. Quite beyond me, in fact.
121. Lines 11 and 12. If you should ever need my life, come and take it.
There, I'll go now. The doctor will change the bandage when he comes.
The carriage would be here soon.
If you should ever need my life, come and take it.
I hope you'll finish your packing.
Yes, yes. Let's stay another day. Please. Let's stay.
Yes, I know what's people here. But you must keep control of yourself. You will get intoxicated. It's time you came back to yourself.
You too. Be sensible, be reasonable, understanding. Treat this situation like a true friend. You're capable of sacrifice. Let me go.
You're really that much in love?
I'm drawn towards her quite irresistibly. Perhaps it's what I've always been waiting for.
The love of a provincial girl? How little you know about yourself.
People are sometimes asleep in their most waking moments. That's the way I feel now, talking to you. I feel as though I were asleep and I saw her in a dream. I'm lost in the most sweet, marvelous fantasies. Let me go.
No, I'm only an ordinary woman. You can't speak to me like that. Boys, don't torture me. I'm frightened.
If you want to be, you can be extraordinary. I've never known love like this before. It's come to me at last. It's holding out its arms to me. How can I possibly run away from it?
You're all determined to torture me today.
Oh, you don't understand. You refuse to understand.
Am I really so old and hideous that they can talk to me so shamelessly about another woman? You're the last page of my life. My joy, my pride, my happiness. If you'd leave me even for an hour, I wouldn't be able to bear it.
Someone will come in.
Well, let me come in. I'm not ashamed of my love for you. You're mine. Mine. This forehead is mine. Those eyes. This beautiful silky hair is mine, too. You're all mine. You're so talented, so intelligent. Your wish has only hope. You've got such sincerity, such simplicity, freshness, such a robust sense of humor. In one sentence, you can describe the very essence of a person or landscape. Anyone who reads you is bound to admire you. You think I'm exaggerating, you think I'm flattering you, but no, look into my eyes. Look. Do I look like a liar? My darling. My wonderful one. You come with me. Come on to me.
I have no will of my own. I never have had any. I'm spineless, weak, always yielding at the end. How can this be attractive to a woman? Take me away. Yes. Take me away. But don't let me out of your sight. Not for a moment.
On second thought, you can do as you please. Stay if you wish. I'll go and you can join me later, in a week or so.
No, it's really better that we go together.
What are you writing?
This morning somebody said, Maiden Grove. It's a good description. Might be useful. So, it all begins again. All those trains, the stations, the waiting rooms. Cold pork.
Come in.
I announce with regret that the carriage is waiting. It's time, my lady, to go to the station. The train arrives at 5 minutes past 2. Oh, please. Madame, you will be very kind, won't you, and find out where the actor Shostalsky is at present, if he's alive and if he's well. We often used to have a drink together. He acted divinely in the mail robbery. I can remember that the tragic actor Ismailov worked with him in Elizabethgrad. Also a remarkable personality. Oh, there's no need to hurry, my dear lady. You've got another 5 minutes. They used to act a pair of conspirators in a melodrama. And when they were caught, they had to say, we landed in a trap. But Ismailov said, we landed in a prat. Ha, ha, ha! A prat. Ha, 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 ha.
Is there a time to leave, Irina? We may be late, and then what? I'll go and get into the carriage.
I'll walk to the station and see you off. I shall be very quick.
Oh! Everybody sit. Voila!
I picked some plums for you for the train. They're very sweet. I thought you might enjoy them on the journey.
You're very kind, Irina.
Goodbye, dear lady. Forgive me if anything was not to your liking.
Well, everything was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Oh, but you mustn't cry.
Our time is running out.
Can't help that, can we? Goodbye, my dear ones. We'll all meet in the summer if we're well and alive. Don't forget me. Oh, this is a ruble for the three of you.
Oh, humble thanks.
Wish you good journey.
May God bless you. A short letter would make us very happy.
But where's
Goodbye, Boris
Constantine?
Alexeyevich.
Tell him I'm leaving now. Isn't he coming to say goodbye? Well, think kindly of me. I've given the cook a ruble for the three of you.
Thank you. I've forgotten my walking stick. I've left it in the hall somewhere. Just going.
I knew you'd come. Boris Alexeyevich, I've made an irrevocable decision. The die is cast. I am going on the stage. Tomorrow I shan't be here. I'm leaving everybody. I'm leaving my father, leaving everything. I'm going to start a new life. Like you, I'm going to Moscow. We shall meet there.
Take a room at the Slavyansky Bazaar. Let me know immediately you arrive. Olchanyevka, Krakovsky's house. I must hurry.
Just one more minute.
It's so beautiful. What happiness. To think we'll meet again soon. To think I'll see these beautiful eyes again. This unbelievably beautiful, tender smile. Those delicate features. This look of angelic purity. Oh, my dearest.
Constantine?
There's no one here. The old man keeps asking, where's Constantine? Where's Constantine? He can't live without him.
He's afraid of being alone. Oh, dreadful weather. Second day running.
There are waves on the lake. Huge waves.
It's quite dark outside. That theatre in the garden ought to be pulled down. Stands there bare and ugly like a skeleton curtain flapping in the wind. I was passing there last night, and I imagined I heard someone weeping inside.
There you go again with your...
Marcia, let's go home. Huh?
I shall spend the night here.
Do come, Marcia. I'm sure our baby must be hungry.
Nonsense. Matrona will feed him.
But I can't help feeling sorry for him. It's 3 days that he's been without his mother.
What a bore you've become. Before, at least, you used to philosophize a little, now and then. Now it's nothing but the home and the baby. The home and the baby. I can't get anything else out of you.
Well, do let's go, Marcia.
Can't you go alone?
Oh, your father won't give me a horse.
You will. Ask him. He'll give you one.
Well, I'll try then. And you'll come tomorrow, hmm?
Very well. Tomorrow. We don't nag me.
Ah.
What's this for, Mama?
Mr. Sorin has asked for his bed to be made up in his room.
Now let me...
The old become like children at the end.
Well, I'll be going now, Marcia. Bye. Goodbye, Mother.
What is it now? Oh, yes, got to feed you.
Goodbye, Constantine.
No one ever dreamt you'd become a real writer, Kostya. Now, thank God, even the newspapers are paying you for it. And you've become so handsome. Dear good Kostya, be kinder to my Masha.
Leave him alone,
She's
Mama.
such a nice girl. Kostya, a woman needs only a kind look now and then. I know that from experience.
There. You've only made him angry. Why did you have to pester him?
Aches for you, Mashenka.
Quite unnecessarily,
I
you know.
can't tell you how much I suffer for you. You see, I know everything. I understand so well.
Nonsense! Hopeless love only exists in novels. It's rubbish. It's wrong to let oneself go. You keep waiting and waiting for something, hoping the wind may change. Once love sneaks into your heart, all you have to do is clear it out. They promised to transfer my husband to another district, and as soon as we move there, I'll forget everything. I'll clear it out by the roots.
Kostya's playing. It means his heart is restless.
Main thing, Mama, is not to have him in front of me all the time. If only my Semyon would be transferred. I promise you,
month, I'd forget all about it. It's all nonsense.
And I've got 6 people in the house now, and 40 pounds of flour. Cost 70 kopecks.
Yeah, that's when you really go round in circles.
Oh, it's all right for you to learn. You've got money like leaves on a tree.
I have. It's 30 years' practice, my friend. A very hard practice indeed. And I didn't belong to myself either by day or by night.
Right.
I managed to save 2,000 rubles, and I spent all that recently on a holiday abroad. I have nothing. Nothing. No. Now.
So, you're still here.
What can I do if they won't give me a horse?
I wish I'd never laid eyes on you.
Oh, what a lot of changes you've made here. The sitting room's been turned into a study.
Constantine finds it more convenient to work here. The garden is quiet and he can go out there whenever he likes and think.
Where's my sister?
She went to the station to meet Trigorin. She'll be back in a minute.
It must be dangerously ill if you found it necessary to send for her. What a strange thing. Here am I, dangerously ill, and nobody gives me any medicine.
Well, what would you like? Valerian drops? Sodium tablets? Quinine?
Here we go again, philosophizing. Oh, what a nuisance it all is for everybody. Is that bed made up for me?
Yes, certainly.
Thank you.
Floating down the midnight sky.
I would like, you know, to give Kostya a subject for a story. Should be called The Man Who Wanted. Lom Kiahulu. What a time in my youth when I wanted to be a writer, but I never became one. I wanted to make beautiful speeches. I speak atrociously. And this and that and so on and so forth, and you know what I mean. And sometimes when I try to explain what I mean, I break out into a cold sweat. I wanted to get married. I never did marry. All my life I wanted to live in town, and here I am, ending my life in the country.
Wanted to become an active councillor of state, and became one.
I never wanted that. That happened of its own accord.
It's ungenerous to express discontent with life at the age of 67.
What a stubborn fellow you are. Can't you understand that one may want to live?
It's just frivolous. It's one of the laws of nature that life has to have an end.
You are arguing like a man who's had his fill. You've been satisfied. Therefore, you're indifferent to life. You don't care. But you, too, will be afraid of dying.
The fear of death is an animal fear. And to try to suppress it. Only those who are afraid of their sins believe in the life hereafter could be consciously frightened of death. Now you, in the first place, are an atheist. Then what sins can you boast of? You've served for 30 years in the Ministry of Justice, that's all.
For 33!
I'll run Constantine's away if he wants to work.
No, never mind. May I ask you, Doctor, what town did you like most when you went abroad?
Genoa.
Why Genoa?
I love the crowds in the street there. When you walk out of your hotel in the evening, you find the whole street bustling and alive with people. You join the crowd and you wander aimlessly here and there along a broken line. You become part of it. Your mind merges with everyone else's. And you begin to believe, in fact, in the existence of one universal soul. Rather like the one Nina acted in your play. Do you remember, ages ago now? By the way, where is she these days? How is she?
Well, I suppose.
I'd heard she'd embarked on a rather strange life. What happened?
It's a long story, Doctor.
Well, can't you make it short?
She ran away from home and had an affair with Trigorin. You knew about that?
Yes, I did.
She had a child by him. It died. Trigorin grew tired of her and went back to his former attachment, as one might have expected, though in fact he never really abandoned it. Through sheer weakness of character, somehow managed to keep on with both. As far as I could gather, Nina's private life turned out to be a complete fiasco.
And the theater?
Even worse, I believe. She made her debut at a Moscow suburban theater and then left for the provinces. At that time, I always kept within sight of her, and everywhere that she went, I went, too. She always undertook important parts to play and acted them badly in a crude kind of way, with hysterical cries and melodramatic gestures. There were moments when she would get things right, a weeping or a deathbed scene, but they were only moments.
But on the whole, you think she had talent?
Well, it's difficult to tell. I believe she did. I always used to watch her from a distance. She refused to see me, and the hotel people wouldn't let me into her room. I understood her mood, so I didn't insist. Well? What more can I tell you? Afterwards, when I came home, I used to get letters from her. Intelligent, interesting, warm letters. She never complained, but I could feel that she was desperately unhappy. The nervous tension stared at you in every line that she wrote, and her imagination became slightly unbalanced. She used to sign her letters the Seagull. She's here now.
Well, what do you mean, here?
Well, she's here in town. She's been here for about 5 days. I called at the house, and Marcia went too, but she won't see anyone. And Simeon says that he saw her in the field yesterday afternoon, about 3 miles from here.
Yes, I saw her. She was walking towards the town. I went up to her and asked her when she would be coming to visit us. She said she would.
No, she won't come. Her father and stepmother have closed their doors to her, and they've put watchmen everywhere with orders not to allow her anywhere near the house. How easy it is, Doctor, to be a philosopher on paper. How hard it is to be one in reality.
She was a charming girl.
What did you say?
I said she was a charming girl. Active state councillor Sorin himself was in love with her for a time.
You well done, Jew and you.
I believe they've arrived from the station.
We are all growing older, weary of the storms of life, but you remain always young, dear lady. A pretty bright ribbon, so gracious, so alive.
Evil eye on me again, you boring man.
Good day, Pyotr Nikolaevich. What's all this about some illness of yours? It won't do, will it? Marcia.
So you recognize me?
Married?
A long time.
Happy? Ah. Your mother tells me you're prepared to let bygones be bygones and are not angry anymore.
And Boris has bought you a magazine with your new story in it.
Thank you, that's very kind of you.
All your admirers send you greetings. You've aroused great interest in Petersburg and in Moscow. I'm being asked questions about you all the time. What do you like? Are you dark or fair? How old are you? For some reason, people seem to think that you're no longer young. Nobody knows your real name because you write under a pseudonym. You're a mystery. Like the man in the iron mask.
Are you staying long?
No, I intend to return to Moscow tomorrow. I have to. I'm in a hurry to finish a novel, and I've promised something to a magazine. You know, it's the old story, over again. It's not very welcoming weather. Vicious wind. As soon as it dies down a bit, I shall go down to the lake to fish. Besides, I want to go around the garden to look at that spot. You remember where your play was performed? I've had an idea in the back of my mind, and I want to refresh my memory by looking at the place again.
Papa, could you give my husband a horse? He has to go home.
A horse? Go home. You saw the horses have just returned from the station. We can't send them straight out again.
But surely there must be some other horses. It's hopeless to ask you for anything.
It's all right. Master, I could walk.
And weather like that. Come and sit down, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, after all, it's only 7 miles. Come on. Bye, Mother. I didn't want to trouble anyone, really, but you see, the baby. Bye. Goodbye.
You'll get there all right. He's not a general, after all.
Come along, ladies and gentlemen. Don't let's waste time. Supper will be announced soon.
When the long autumn evenings descend upon us, we play Lotto. This is an old game of Lotto which we used to play with my mother when she was alive and we were children. Let's have a game before supper. It's a dull game, but if you get used to it, it's not too bad.
He's read his own story. Hasn't even cut the pages of mine.
Not playing, Kostya.
I'm sorry, I don't feel like it.
The stake is 10 kopecks. Would you put it down for me, Doctor?
There you are.
Now, you all put down your stakes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I begin. 22.
Hey.
Yes.
3.
In
Yes.
order.
3 down. 8.
Eight.
No. 81. 81. 10.
No, not so quick.
Oh, what a welcome I had in Kharkov, my friend. My head is still going round.
34.
Oh. Yeah.
The students organized a real demonstration. 3 baskets of flowers, 2 bouquets, and this.
Yes, that really is something.
50?
Oh.
60.
I wore a beautiful dress. Whatever else you may say about me, I'm very clever at choosing my clothes.
Kostya's playing. He's upset, poor boy.
The papers criticize him a lot.
77.
Pay attention to the papers.
He's unlucky. He never seems able to hit the right note. There's something strange about his writing, something lacking. Sometimes even a little hysterical. There are no real characters.
11.
Petrusha, are you bored? He's asleep.
The active state councillor is asleep.
7. 90.
If I lived on an estate like this, by a lake, would I ever even think of writing? I'd have got rid of the literary obsession once and for all. I'd spent my time fishing.
26?
To catch a chub or a perch, what more can you want?
I myself have great faith in Constantine. And he's got something quite special. Yes, I'm convinced of it. He thinks in pictures. His stories are vivid, full of color. They move me deeply. Oh, it's just such a pity that he has no definite goal. He makes an impression, nothing more. And one can't go far on just an impression. Irina Nikolaevna, are you pleased that your son is a writer?
Could you believe it? I've never yet read anything of his. I've no time.
26?
Boris Alexeyevich, you know we're still keeping that thing of yours.
What thing?
Well, Konstantin killed a seagull one day. You asked me to have it stuffed for you.
I don't remember.
Hmm?
No, I'm afraid I don't.
60?
Yes.
1?
How dark it is. I don't know why I feel so anxious. So restless.
Kostya, shut the door. It's such a trap.
88?
I've won.
Bravo!
Oh, that man is lucky in everything he does. Now, let's go and have something to eat. Our celebrity hasn't eaten at all. We'll continue after supper. Constantine, now leave your manuscripts and come and eat.
No, Mama, I'm not hungry.
Well, as you will. Patricia! Supper time. Now, I'll tell you how. Cheer me, Kaka.
Oh, I'd love to hear that.
I'm always talking so much about new styles. I feel as if I'm slowly slipping back into the old cliches. The poster on the wall announced. The pale face in its frame of dark hair announced. The frame lacks all quality. I'll begin with the hero being woken up by the noise of the rain and leave out all the rest. The description of the moonlit night is long and far too precious. Trigorin has his little tricks all worked out. It's easy for him. He makes the neck of the broken bottle shine on the sluice gates. With the dark shadow of the mill wheel, he has his moonlit night all neat and ready. While I have flickering lights, the soft sparkle of the stars, the faraway sound of a piano dying away into the fragrant air. It's painful. Yes. I've become more and more convinced that the whole thing isn't a matter of old or new styles. But a man writes without thinking about style. He writes because the words flow freely from his heart. What's that?
sort of presentiment all day I've been in agony. My dearest, my beloved, she's come back. Now, don't cry. Don't let's cry.
Let me look at you. Have I changed much?
Yes. You're thinner. Your eyes have grown bigger. Nina, so strange that you should be here and I'm actually looking at you. Why didn't you let me come to you? Why didn't you come before? I know you've been here for almost a week. I've been to see you several times a day, standing by your window like a beggar.
I was afraid you hated me. Every night I dreamed that you're looking at me and you didn't recognize me. If you only knew. Since I arrived, I've been drawn to the lake. I've been close to the house several times, but didn't dare to come in. Let's sit and talk. Talk and talk and talk. Do you hear the wind? There's a passage in Turgenev. Happy the man on such a night who has warmth and shelter. I'm a seagull. No, not that. What was I saying? Yes. Turgenev. And may God help all homeless wanderers. It makes me feel better. I haven't cried for 2 years now. Late last night I came to the stage to see if it was still standing, and it still here is. Nothing's changed. And I cried for the first time in 2 years, and I felt relieved. My heart felt lighter. You see, I'm not crying anymore. So you're a writer now. You're a writer. I'm an actress. We two are caught up in the whirlpool. I used to live happily like a child. I used to wake up in the morning and sing. I loved you. I dreamed of fame. And now, tomorrow early in the morning, I shall go to Yeliot's in a third-class carriage with presents. And in Yeliot's, fat, so-called educated merchants will sniff around me like dogs. How crude life really is.
Why to Yeliot's?
I've got a contract for the winter. It's time for me to go.
I cursed you, Nina. I hated you. I tore up your letters and photographs, but all the time I knew that my heart was yours forever. I can't stop loving you, Nina. Ever since I lost you and began to write, life has become unbearable for me. I suffer agonies. My youth seems to have been stripped away from me, and I begin to think that I've lived on this earth for 90 years at least. I call your name. I kiss the ground you walked on. Everywhere I look, I imagine that I can see your face, that tender smile that lit up the best years of my life.
Why does he say like this? Why does he...
I'm lonely. There's no love around to warm my heart. I feel cold, as if I were in a tomb, and everything I write is dry and harsh and sad. Stay here with me, Nina, I implore you, or let me come with you.
Nina! Why? For God's sake, Nina!
My horses are quite near. Don't come with me. I want to go alone.
Where are you going now?
To town. Your mother's here, isn't she?
Yes, she is. My uncle became ill on Thursday, so we sent a wire for her to come.
Why do you say you kissed the ground I walked on? I ought to have been killed. I'm so exhausted. If I could rest. I'm a seagull. No, that's wrong. I'm an actress. Yes, I am. And he's here, too. Yes, never mind, yes. He didn't believe I could act. He kept laughing at my dreams, and little by little, I, too, lost faith and courage. And then all the anxieties of love, of jealousy, my constant fear for the baby. I became so mean, so contemptible. I acted stupidly. I didn't know what to do with my hands. I stood on the stage like an idiot. I couldn't control my voice. You don't know the agony of it when you feel your work is beneath contempt. I'm a seagull. Oh, not that. You remember you shot a seagull
A man comes along by chance, sees her, and having nothing better to do, destroys her, a subject for a short story. No, not that. What was I saying? I was talking about the acting. I'm not like that anymore. I'm a real actress now. I act with joy, with enthusiasm. I get quite carried away sometimes. I feel that I'm beautiful. And now, while I've been here, I've been walking every day, walking and thinking. And I feel myself growing stronger every day. I know now, Kostya, that in our work, it doesn't matter whether we act or write. The main thing is not fame, nor anything spectacular and all that I dreamed of. The main thing is to know how to endure, how to carry one's cross and have faith. I have faith now, and it doesn't hurt so much. And when I think of my vocation, then I'm not afraid of life anymore.
You found your way. You know where you're going. I'm still wandering in a world of dreams and images, without knowing what it's all about or whether I have anything to offer. I have no faith. I don't know what my vocation is.
Shh. Goodbye, I'm going. When I become a great actress, you'll come and see me, promise? But now it's late. I can hardly stand on my feet. I'm so tired and I'm hungry.
Stay here. I'll give you some supper.
No. No, Golan didn't come with me. My carriage is quite close. So she brought him with her. Well, never mind. When you see Tricorin, don't tell him anything. I love him. I love him. I love him even more than before. A subject for a short story. I love him passionately, desperately. How lovely it was in the old days, Klaus. I don't remember. What a warm, clear, pure, sweet life it was. What emotions we felt. What beautiful emotions. Like graceful, tender flowers. Do you remember? Then, lions, eagles, partridges, antlered deer, geese, spiders, silent fish living in deep water, starfish, and those you cannot see with the naked eye. In short, every living thing, having completed its mournful cycle, is faded out. It is now thousands of centuries that this earth carries no living being, and this poor moon lights its beacon in vain. The cranes do not wake up crying in the meadows, and no beetles are heard among the lime trees.
It would be annoying if someone saw her in the garden and then told Mama. It would upset Mama.
wine and the beer here on the table for Mrs. Grigori. We shall drink and play. Let's sit, please.
And bring the tea at the same time.
This is the thing I spoke to you about. You ordered it.
No, I don't remember. No, I don't remember.
For that.
Nothing, probably. A bottle of ether exploded in my medicine box, don't worry.
Oh, that did frighten me. It reminded me of... Suddenly, everything went dark in front of my eyes.
$21. $17.